y'all need to read this Artist Way book because it has no business calling my ass out like that. Week 9 recap of The Artist Way. So for week 9, it is recovering a sense of compassion, and it's talking about fear, enthusiasm, creative U-turns, and then blasting through blocks. So what I got from this week is being blocked and being lazy are two very different things. When we're in a block, we tend to beat ourselves up and tend to doubt ourselves, and we call ourselves lazy because we're not creating as much as we would like to be. Sometimes fear is the root, but I don't think that's true all the times or all the time. Sometimes we might not, or sometimes we will kind of just feel burnt out with the work we're doing, and sometimes we just need a break, and that's okay. Just because it might be hard to start a project doesn't mean you're not able to do it. You need to give yourself permission to take small steps, and maybe in the time that you feel that you're like in a block, go try a new medium, um, go try a new hobby, take just a break from what you do on a regular daily basis. That's something I tend to do when I'm in a creative block. That's my go-to thing, I guess, is just doing something completely different than what I am wanting to do. So let's say I want to paint or draw or whatever, and I'm just in a block. I'm gonna go focus on reading or go do a word search or go learning something, and just really something completely different from what I'm doing. And that usually gets me out of that block and will give me inspiration to kind of bust through that bust through that block and get back into creating. I feel like with being in a block, you need to have self-discipline and be able to at least try to get yourself out of that block. Um, if you're not putting work in to get out of the block, I feel like that means you don't really want it as bad as you think you do. To be an artist is to play, to have fun, and to express yourselves. You need to let go of any expectations and just make some shit. Even if it's bad, just do it. You can go back and fix it later. But at least try and do something. You could decorate your creative space to be more playful and inviting. Show up for yourself to create. Instead of wishing you were better at drawing or painting or whatever else, show up for yourself to create. Do the necessary work to get better. Go treat yourself to some new sketchbook, a paint. Go treat yourself to a new sketchbook or some new paint or color pencils. Do something and just go practice. Go have fun with it. I don't know if it was last week or like a couple weeks ago or just multiple times, but I've talked about this before, but just that art is the process of making it. Enjoy the slowness, enjoy practicing and getting good at something. Congratulate yourself on the progress you made, no matter the amount of the progress. Progress is still progress. Sometimes when we start to have a lot of progress going on and opportunities start coming in our way or coming to us, we kind of, this is where like the creative U-turns was being talked about in the book. We end up like blocking ourselves. So let's say you get I think one of the examples in the book was saying you get like a modeling job or something and you need to go take headshots. So instead of going to do headshots for the modeling thing you wanted to do, you just completely stop it and go back to being blocked. We are stopping ourselves. Stop stopping yourselves. Let yourself and accept the opportunities that you have been asking for is right there. Just take it, accept it. Something we can do when going through these creative U-turns and all these blocks, maybe write down your fears or your worries or just anything that you have on your mind and figure out what is holding you back. Are you holding yourself back or something else actually holding you back? The creative U-turn is something that I still kind of like deal with. Um, I feel like sometimes I'll be on a roll with learning something or getting better at a new skill. And once I start getting to, I don't want to say deadline, but once I start getting to a point that I have been wanting to get to, I like stop myself and completely forget about it. Um, I think it's just being overwhelmed or maybe just not used to having like what I have been wanting or what I've desired, whatever. And so I cut myself off to avoid, I guess, the opportunity or avoid the progress. Kind of like blocking myself to stay small. But I have been getting better at it. One thing that has been helping me so I don't get to that point is doing a little bit out of doing a little bit at a time. I feel like I would get a lot of inspiration, have a lot of ideas to create something, and I'll just hurry up and do it. Well, not like rush to do it, but I'm so excited to work on it that I do it all in one day, and then I get myself burnt out or I kind of like block myself from doing anything else. So, y'all need to read this Artist Way book because it has no business calling my ass out like that. But anyways, let's talk about the rest of the week, my task and morning pages and artist day. So the task this week, I really liked them. It wasn't that many. Yeah, it was only like a handful. A lot of it is just talking about progress you would want to do for the month, the year, the week, whatever. Um, one of the tasks, it asks, um, is to read through your morning pages, and I haven't done it yet because I know I'm gonna get sad, but the point of it is to just read it and just acknowledge how you're feeling, and that's it. Because with morning pages already, we are just letting go and dumping it and moving on through our day. Another task that I had liked was it had you list your creative goals for the year, the month, and then for the week. And I feel like that gave me a better, I guess, planning for how I want to go about certain projects that I've been working on. And then morning pages. I still do morning pages every single day. I just don't post them every single day. I just kind of write and that be it. So, and then for the artist date this week, I didn't do an artist date just because it was really cold and snowing and the roads were still pretty bad. So I just stayed home and chilled out. But alrighty, that is my week 9 recap of the Artist Way, and now on to week 10. Peace.